What to do, Mr. Katz? How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
It's not what we say. We say, what it do?
What it do, what it do, what it do, my
Can I
friend.
get a what it do, Mr. Katz?
What it do, what it do, what it do.
Nice. Now, I'll tell you how I'm feeling, man. I was feeling a little bit slow. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Last night, stayed up a little late. I was celebrating 6 days of sobriety. I thought it was a good time for a couple of vodka sodas. So I was moving a little bit slow. Had a good time, good conversation with my son. Moving a little bit slow, but I gotta tell you, our new sponsor, Momentous, hooked me up with this Alpha GPC cognitive supplement, and I am feeling fantastic. So I want to give a big shout out to Momentous, our new sponsor, on having an amazing product.
I need some Momentous right now. I had a hard time sleeping last night. I probably slept like 5 hours. Just a lot racing in my head, man. There's so much going on. And, things are moving so fast in this world. And last night, it got to me a little bit.
Yeah, man. Well, not only can you get, an amazing sleep supplement from our sponsors, Momentous, our good friends, Momentous Supplements, but you save 35% when you use the link on subscription. So I'm out here shilling the product, but I'm sorry to hear you didn't sleep.
I need some Momentous, so I'm going to use the link. I'm going to take the discount code, and I'll let you know next time how it goes.
Fantastic. Cool, man. Well, I'm excited for what it do this week. I've got some stuff to share, but first, we talked a little bit about it last week, but we're on a panel tomorrow, a panel discussion of kind of AI luminaries in the city of Denver, Colorado.
Well, is it tomorrow? It's Wednesday next week.
Oh, did I say tomorrow?
You did.
Brother, I need some more of this Alpha GPC. I think that's what it is.
Well, everyone needs a little more Momentous in their life.
100%. Yeah, next Wednesday. Thank you. Next Wednesday, we're doing a panel discussion, and I'm really excited. It's like a pretty diverse panel. And so I was basically saying, like, how do we sit down and put together an hour-long panel discussion? I've been to many. I've hosted a couple. I've been a panelist on some, and things can go off the rails sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you have an hour. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, how do I approach this? It's like, I almost want to be like a DJ, where if there's 4 or 5 panelists, those are my tracks, and you have to be able to mix, you have to be able to keep an eye on the room, kind of know where to take the conversation so it appeals to the people that are there. Of course, we'll be recording it, so we'll publish it on the podcast. People can see, how we did on the panel. But I kind of wanted to think of it like that because I'm not exactly sure who we're going to get. Any idea of like who the audience might be?
No. I mean, I've posted on my Facebook and I'm going to be posting it on my LinkedIn, but I really, have no idea what to expect otherwise. Maybe other professionals interested in AI, I think just, you're going to see, I think, members of the professional community.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe some of the traps, it's like all of us are like all in token maxers. Like it would be super boring if we were just agreeing with everything and like posting, like looking into the some kind of rose colored future. So I think I'll set some ground rules of, we want to kind of like steel man the skeptics, like, make sure I want to dispel some misconceptions. And dependent on the audience, if it is people like us, like, hey, let's go pretty deep technically, or if it's a lot of people that might not be like as deep into it, maybe they're using chat or whatever, that there's something accessible and tangible that they can take away is kind of how I was thinking about it. But I thought it'd be interesting for the sake of what it do to kind of go through the sections of how I'm approaching hosting a panel discussion.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And it gives me a little cheat code ahead of the event.
100%. And that's, I was going to also pass along some of this. Now, what is your take? Do you think I should, like, the questions I'm considering, send it to all the panelists beforehand so they have a chance to kind of get some hot takes, or kind of leave it open to improvisation?
I will leave it open to improv.
Okay.
For me personally, if I'm getting something like, I haven't been on a panel or public spoken in a while. So, I'm like 5% nervous. So, for me to get questions in advance, I'll probably overthink them. I'd rather just fire away.
Okay, cool. I think what I'll do, and shout out to Gabe for putting this thing together. I think I'll send him over to him to make sure that it's kind of ticking the the boxes of what he wanted to cover, and I'll be like, hey, I want to keep this kind of close to the chest. Don't share it with the other panelists. But I'm feeling pretty confident. I know you, of course. I know Danny Newman. He's on the panel. Both you guys are great at speaking. But another kind of trap, I think, on panel discussions is you'll get mumblers or you'll get people that kind of ramble on. So figuring out how to be the proper, panelist DJ to like bring people and underline people's points and keep the conversation moving,
Yeah, just bring a bullhorn.
Bring a what?
A
A
bullhorn.
bullwhip?
Yeah, no, a horn. Just just
Oh, bullhorn.
yeah, You
Fair,
could do
fair,
like,
fair.
yeah, like a little squeeze when you want to emphasize a point. Someone says something great, you just give it like a "Brr." And then, when someone's talking and it's time to shut them up, you give them a 3-second. I think you could probably codify something like that.
Dude, it would really be really funny though, wouldn't it? Like, what if you did really actually mix them and people were droning on and you just kind of bring the fader down? Or like you make a good point and I just loop it and it's like it's just hitting that point a couple of times,
Yeah, everything for me is a system. So, I'm thinking about how we can systematize, the problem we're trying to solve here.
100%. I love it. Okay, so here's my approach. Basically, what I want to do is I want to come in with a cold open, and I will actually read the cold open so I can get your take. Typically, what will happen is the host comes in and drolls on with thank yous and acknowledgments. Of course, you want to do those, but I want to hook the audience right out of the gate. So here's my opening hook. It's going to be every animal on Earth runs on 4 drives. 4 drives, that is. Eat, sleep, fucking, and defending. Humans have a 5th. We chase the divine. So that might be for you worship. It could be flow state. It could be play, whatever form it takes for you. So the question I want hanging over the panel is AI going to feed the 5th drive or bury it under a pile of chat windows?
Interesting. I mean, you're going right at the heart of the philosophy of the whole thing, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of Gabe's vision was like to have more of a philosophical discussion. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions with AI for me was that, oh man, this is going to turn my work week into a 10-hour work week. And it turned it into a 60-hour work week.
For sure.
Now the difference is I find flow state and experience of the divine, for lack of a better word, in the work I'm doing. It's great. So I'm enjoying that. But I do want to see is AI making us more human? And if so, what's it going to be? So anything, yes, no, and, or maybes. I want to lead with basically a provocative statement to get the audience immediately in their head of why are we talking about the divine?
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting opener for sure.
Okay. It's still open to change. So I might switch a couple of things up.
Well, I think the way you said it the second time was a little more clear.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a certain amount of there's some wordplay in there that's a little bit takes a while to catch up.
The divine is a little ambiguous, but I think does AI make us more or less human is something everyone can relate to.
I'm gonna substitute that because also divine can be divisive. I think I'm kind of a hippie in that aspect that I think that listening to music is experiencing the divine, but people might get caught up in their Catholic school experiences or something. I don't want to cross wires here.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't want to preemptively answer this. Maybe I could start to answer it. Am I cheating if I start to answer the question?
No, please. This is your cheat code.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think like anything else, there's a conscientious decision as to how to use the tool. I think more so than any other tool in history, AI has the potential to make some people stupid. But that is not the AI's fault. It's the conscious decision of the individual to accept AI's output as gospel. And at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to understand the way the AI works and to use it, in combination with our own judgment to then. God damn it.
Yeah, totally, man. Okay, cool. I love it. This is going to be a fun conversation. The questions I've got are poking the bear for sure.
Yeah.
So first one, cold open. Second one, I want to frame the conversation a little bit for the panelists so they kind of understand. I also want to frame it for the audience. So kind of telling them what they're going to be able to walk away with. We're recording the thing on a Wednesday, or we're doing the thing on a Wednesday, what they can do Thursday morning. I want them to have a clear plan of action. So kind of framing the conversation. Third is just introducing the panel. So, I'll say my piece and then kind of hand it off to you guys to do self intros. I was thinking like 30 seconds. You think,
Yep.
you think that's probably a good limit?
Yeah, plenty.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
otherwise blow the bullhorn, but 30 seconds is more than enough.
Totally. Okay. And then basically the questions. So I'll come in with the questions. Now, what I want to do is I was kind of going through these questions, but I'm presenting them as an arc, as a narrative. So there's a certain form I want the conversations to take. Like I'm not looking for a particular outcome or an answer to some kind of question, but as opposed to like this question to that question to this question, try to like create a narrative and create kind of deeper conversations. So other considerations is I don't want to ask the same question to each person, rather, allowing the conversation to kind of help. And kind of if there's somebody, say for example, Jason Katz is over there and he hasn't said anything in a while, I can be like, hey, Jason, you buying this? And kind of create a little bit of tension and see if we can find some friction, because I think that's where like new ideas are kind of born. And
Yeah.
I guess that's just underlying the point that I think that like if we're all AI maximalists, it could be just like a bunch of pats on the back, which is just boring to watch.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think, spawning new ideas through the conversation is key, and I know you'll do a great job.
Cool. I have a couple of I'm preparing maybe a list of 7 questions, but I'll probably have 11. Maybe it'll be 5, maybe it'll be 6. I'm also planning on kind of a Q&A, so if there are people there that have questions, allowing them to hold their questions to the end, and then maybe taking 5-10 minutes at the end to kind of field questions from the audience. I learned this during COVID. Also, what could happen is you're like, cool, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and fire away, raise your hand. And then you have like that silence on a Zoom call with 50 people there, and you're
Yeah.
just waiting for someone to say something. And it's like
Well, I think
horrible.
maybe be ready for that if it happens.
Totally. And that's kind of what I
have
was
a backup plan.
exactly. So I kind of had a backup question, which is like, cool, if there's no questions, that's no problem. But if you're kind of putting your thoughts together, let me ask one more question to the panel while you're thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Have like a little set of index cards, with additional questions on it.
Totally. And then we have basically after that, we have the closer. So I want to give everyone on the panel kind of a chance to have like a closing statement. So setting it up like, hey, taking what you got from this conversation, if somebody wants to get more involved on Thursday morning, what is a step that they can take in the right direction, and just having each person on the panel basically be able to give their closing statements.
Yep.
And then, of course, thank you, acknowledgement to the venue, and to shout out to Gabe and everybody else who put the thing together. And then that's kind of the form that I put together for the panel discussion.
Yeah, man. I love it. Can't wait.
Yeah. Should be
Next
fun.
week. And then are we going to go to the Good People Happy Hour after that? It's the same night.
I think so, man. I was looking at my calendar and my calendar's clear. There's also the AI Clubhouse has their thing on Wednesday nights too. So we could kind of just bounce around.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm probably good for the 2 events. But I have some handouts I can give out. Finally, some business cards. I have these really cool telegrams that we made. They're like these postcards that, old school, Western Union telegrams with, learn about AI kind of messaging on it. It's really cool. And then I have these like old school 1950s looking matchbooks. So we're coming with the swag, baby.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
And I got my little dot right there. You see it?
Yeah. What does the dot do?
You just you bump phones and it like loads up a little personal webpage. And it's got like all my socials and YouTube and like all my personal information. And like you save it right to the contact card. It's pretty cool.
Well, it's not very romantic. I mean, can you hold it there for a minute at least?
Well, you could do like a ring or a wrist piece, and then you could really, slide hands and, kind of get more intimate that way. But, I'm I'm shy. I'm shy.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
we'll bump thumbs. Just a little bump, you know?
It's a little bump today. Hey, well, who knows what
Yeah.
tomorrow looks like?
Yeah.
Nice, man. I'm excited. Maybe I can get some merch printed up because that's a great idea in those networking events. I mean, you're gonna hand them a business card, but
It's
if you
got to
have
be
something
something
cool,
cool. Yeah. So
yeah,
like, it's got to be something that that's why we did the Western Union Telegram. It's a talking thing. It's like, oh, here's my card, but also here's this telegram. And they like, oh, that's so cute. Right. And you're like, and also here's this matchbook. Right. And they're like, oh, so like in that moment, you're trying to give them something that makes them remember you. Right. And that makes them
totally.
stand out. Like if that's all you accomplish and you get a bump on the phone out of it, like it's a win.
It's a win. All right, maybe you're like me. Your entire wardrobe is from Costco and Home Depot. Kirkland jeans? Yup. 5-pack of t-shirts you grab next to the rotisserie chicken? Yes. Maybe a fleece you bought while shopping for drill bits. I get it, shopping for clothes is a major pain. So you just don't do it. But the thing is, you still want to look good. You just don't want to earn it at the mall. Now, this episode is brought to you by Taylor, the AI-powered menswear styling service for busy professionals. Here's how it works. Taylor's AI teams up with professional human stylists, and yes, actual humans with actual taste, to curate outfits based on your fit, your goals, and what your life actually looks like. If you've got a big presentation coming up, or a conference, or a first date after a long hiatus, they got you. The clothes show up at your door, you wear them as long as you want, and you send them back laundry-free, and a fresh box arrives. Wear, return, repeat. It's the easiest way to look your best, and you never have to set foot in a fitting room. And you keep your Costco run for the snacks and the protein. And bonus, because you're renting premium clothes instead of buying stuff that dies in your closet, you're helping cut fashion waste too. Look good, save time, waste less. Head to tailor.style and use code Ryan30 for $30 off your first shipment. Any plan, code Ryan30, that's TAELOR.style, and use code Ryan30. All right, fitness fans, creatine might be the most studied supplement on the planet, and for years, everybody thought it was just for guys trying to get huge in the gym. And we are, but that's maybe a third of the story. Yes, the physical benefits are real. More strength, better recovery, more output. But what got me taking it every single day is the mental side. Your brain runs on the same energy systems your muscles do, and the research on creatine for focus, memory, and mental fatigue is genuinely impressive. I notice it most on long days, back-to-back calls, deep work in the afternoon, and I'm still not fried by 3 p.m. And I really notice it when I don't take it. Momentous makes pure creatine. NSF certified and third-party tested, no fillers, no junk. I'm on about 10 grams a day. And because it's a daily habit, this is exactly the kind of thing you should have on subscription instead of remembering to reorder. So click the link in the show notes, and my code stacks with the standard 25% subscription discount for 35% off your first subscription order, plus 10% off every recurring order after that. If you're taking daily creatine, this is the absolute best. Subscribe once, set it and forget it. Thanks, Momentous. Plus, I mean, the matches is cool. I mean, the whole vibe. I mean, people got to check out kindlingsolutions.com because the whole brand that you put together over there is so attractive and cool. Kind of like a remix on like 50s, office life, and it kind of looks like NASA. It's so cool. So the matchbook fits right in there, and you could really, like, if you had a box of clove cigarettes, and you hand them the matchbook, and they'd be like, oh, this is so cool. Be like, yeah, let me get a light, and then just like light up a clove cigarette right there.
Be like, listen, I'm your spark. Let's spark you up right now.
And spark it up right now. Everybody loves cloves. I mean, cigarettes terrible, but cloves delicious.
I'm texting my marketing team right now. Branded clove cigarette packs.
Bring it back. You'd be the most popular person in the room. People like, somebody have clove cigarettes? Be incredible.
All right. Let's see what they say. I feel like those would probably be pretty expensive, but pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Nice, man. How about you? What do you got for going this week? You got a win, you got a loss, you got a Buffalo?
Man. Yeah. Somehow this week I ended up talking to and pitching two different kind of, larger, I'd say larger, our target demo is really, anyone that's doing between 2 million, I'd say up to 50, 60 million, right? These are companies that are figuring out how to scale, right? And they want to scale with AI. They don't want to add more headcount, and and they want to build operating systems inside of their company to do just that. And I thought in the beginning we would really be doing a lot of volume of the lower end of that, and I think just by law of attraction and the fact that I'm probably just more used to talking to the higher end, $40-50 million companies. We've really dialed in this incredible story about how we build our systems and how we scale. And I found myself in 2 different meetings with CEOs of companies of around that size. And I've had an opportunity to like assess where they are in their operational maturity. One of them is I'd say struggling for operational leadership, right? Really strong visionaries, really strong like understanding of like finances and balance sheet management and asset acquisition and stuff like that, but lacking operationally. And you can see it in their systems, right? We did an audit of their systems and there's really nothing there. And then in terms of what we're talking about doing with AI, I'd say compared to the other company, it's like very rudimentary, right? Still like very necessary, like, but then on the flip side of that, this other company that we met with, has already internally built a ton of their own systems, right? Like really impressive, like end to end AI systems. And they're trying to figure out how do we go from, okay, we have all these independent tools. How do we like turn it into like a single operating system that, learns together and becomes like the standard way that we manage our business centrally. And we don't have like all these disparate tools, right? They really want to take the next leap to like build tools versus build for scale. And I guess it's just an interesting case study in how far apart some of these companies are, right? And it's like you think, for someone like me, everyone, it's inevitable that everyone's going to be building custom operating systems built with and incorporating AI into the system itself. And right now, companies are just totally all over the map, right? Like with where they are on that maturity curve. Obviously, we're out there fighting the good fight to facilitate this for those companies. But right now, the disparity between where these companies are and how they're integrating AI into their companies is like totally on opposite sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And everything in between.
Yeah. It'll be interesting too, as you kind of like build custom solutions for all these folks. There's going to be certain buckets that different kinds of businesses fall in, and I suppose it's about kind of creating a trust ladder where, CEOs are starting with like, oh my gosh, we need to bring AI in, but like, what can we do? What do we not want to do? What are the banana peels? One question I've been asking guests all the time is kind of like, what automation or system do you have in place right now with AI that if it went away, you would be lost? Basically saying like, is there a common ground of like the really important ones? And almost all of them it's the kind of morning brief that says like, here's your day. I know you put together this brilliantly. Here's your day. Here's the people you're talking to. Here's backgrounds on them. Here's the emails that are sitting on your inbox. Here's maybe some priorities. So when they're sitting down with their morning coffee, they're just kind of like going over that. And I've had probably a half dozen people that like this, I've become reliant on this. And I wonder if like, as kind of like implementing, AI kind of growing them from babies, if like you almost start people with that on day one where they're like, oh, this is something that like is actually really helpful. And then it can kind of expand to other services.
Yeah, I think so. I think for like an entry point, yes, absolutely. I think for companies that have challenges with just managing operational management in general, I think you're going to be limited with what you can do there unless you get, executive buy-in to help them lead the change of and how they run their operations, from the point they decide to bring you in. But I think as like, a taster of like what AI can do, what you're describing is very low hanging fruit.
And it's ultimately like even these people with these billion-dollar AI companies are like, it's like, that's the thing that I really love. The other thing that I think I'm really kind of interested in from a service agency and kind of custom product is model routing, where you can take, this probably people a little bit more sophisticated. Maybe they've been spending, too much on tokens. Their tokenomics aren't adding up. Now they're starting to worry about compliance. Maybe they're starting to worry about frontier models potentially stealing their business. quick side conversation. For example, Claude just launched Claude Teacher, and they're basically using, they're creating a tool for teachers to like run their classroom. Beautiful, right? But like, how many people were working on those tools with Claude, and now they have all this information of exactly what's working, what users are doing. They have free access to all this tool, and they can just immediately create their own and smash out all the competition.
Yeah.
So I've talked to a couple people that are a little bit worried about that, where they're like, hey, there's certain things that I don't want the frontier models running. I want to run on like a local open source route. Or why are we paying for Fable 5 if I'm trying to like draft this email? You know,
there's a lot of that.
So like,
there's a lot of that going on for sure.
Yeah. So I wonder, like, model routing is going to be like, you know, the DJ of the AI tech stack.
It's coming. There's going to be platforms that do nothing but that. It's definitely coming. You know, we're building some of that into our operating system. I mean, a lot of that comes down, you know, I say this over and over again, but the value is in understanding the engine, right? Like software is democratized. Code is democratized. Anyone can build a thing. The value is in understanding the workflows and the engine and the business logic and connecting all of that to the broader strategy of what the company's trying to do. So, you know, with model routing, right, it's the same thing. Like you have to understand what the model is actually trying to do and why, and then you can assign it the right model, right? But like, you know, that requires understanding the engine behind the business intimately.
Yeah. And building the engine, you know, because I mean, the constraints around tokens now is an issue, but dude, in a couple of years, I mean, tokens go to zero, energy probably goes to zero. Intelligence is now completely free. Like, it's almost like trying to imagine like the tools to build within that is like, I don't even, you know, I need to like go in a float tank or something to be like, what does that look like? Because those constraints are so built in. I mean, how do you think about like intelligence greater than yours that's completely free and never stops? You know, it's like almost I'm too dumb to do it is what I'm saying here, Jason Katz.
Yeah. I mean, you are pretty dumb, so it's not, you know, not a surprise that you're too dumb to do this.
Nice. All right, man. Tell me more. So you're meeting with CEOs. They have disparate places, are there common threads between them as you're having meetings that like they have similar curiosities?
You know, they're expressing similar concerns. How do we govern this, right? Like, how do we govern information access? How do we govern cost? How do we govern tool development, right? So that like we have the same experience. You know, I had an interesting conversation with CEO today about the definition of an IT department. And we broke it down into 3 buckets: IT services, which is like hardware management, like software management, like, you know, permissioning user management, things like that, right? Like, you know, printers, laptops, right? Equipment, all that stuff. Yeah. And then, you know, infrastructure, right? Servers, blah, blah, blah. And then second to that was, you know, data governance, data management, and in a lot of cases, you know, business intelligence, right? Just like how we centralize organizational data and clean it up and keep it secure and, right, like build a data model that anyone can pull insights off of. And then number 3, historically and still today, you know, custom application development and software development, right? But if you go back to 2021, before AI was writing software, you know, you would say, okay, we have a need. We want to bring in some software. We're either going to go buy software, you know, a SaaS product, or we're going to buy a SaaS product with some degree of customization and integration. And we're going to hire this team and we're going to scope it and we're going to get proposals. And like the whole thing would take like 6 months from the time they decided to do something until they, you know, got the proposal back and then decided to build. And maybe in some cases they wanted to build an app and it was, you know, $500,000, right, to build an iPhone app. And IT kind of owned that process. And now the difference is that all of that bidding and time has shrunk to almost zero, and eventually it will be zero. But IT is still responsible for, right, application software development. And I think that's an important call out, is to say, hey, like 3 years ago, your guy using Claude Code writing apps never in a million years would have been anywhere near building a software product for your company.
Yeah.
Right. So like, we need to remember that, right? Like now everyone has this tool called AI that can write the apps. So like everyone's just going in and writing apps, but like we need to remember that like there's a reason why IT manages these things for governance and security, right? And it's important that, you know, CEOs who either have, you know, a lot of CEOs have this concern or CEOs aren't thinking about it, need to be remembering that.
Love it. I love it, man. And I love that you're on the front lines and Kindling is blowing up. You have to share these insights too. Cause you know, that's the other thing I forget is like, we're in a pretty tight bubble and you start to like expect that everybody knows a lot of this stuff. But like the conversations you're having with CEOs is, I think a lot of people, probably listeners to this show, are experiencing too. So you feel camaraderie when people are suffering in the same way, and you get inspired by, you know, some of these challenges because, you know, that's what we're working with.
Yeah, let's suffer together.
And suffer together. You know, I'll close this out with a buffalo. But I'm actually going to share this video of a buffalo. Dude, have you seen this video of the buffalo hitting that prospector looking guy?
No.
Dude, you got to see it. I'll bring it in because it's wild because, man, the power of a buffalo is very impressive. And so I like to see him.
they're like 1,500 pounds.
Yeah. But like, look at this guy he goes after. It seems a little bit personal and mean because this guy looks like he should have like an ore pick and like prospecting for gold. So he's got him in the bush. Now watch this guy that comes out. Look at that guy. Ah!
Wow. What happened to that guy?
But seriously, man, this guy's awesome. He's got suspenders on his jeans. He's got a big white beard. Like, that's mean, man. Why you pick on this guy?
Good for him.
Look at that. Look at that.
I mean, that buffalo could tip that. Poof, that's like 15 feet in the air at least.
Dude, that is so high. Look at that.
Did he breathe? That guy broke some bones.
He must have. I forget how it ends. I think he just runs away. Yeah, look at how he's so pissed, kicking up dust.
I mean, that buffalo could take that car right over.
So I had to end with that buffalo. I was like, man, that buffalo is angry.
It's a proper buffalo. Well done.
Proper buffalo. Jason Katz, thank you so much, man. Good what it doing.
What a day.
In 3 years, AI fluency will be a baseline expectation for every college grad, not a differentiator. It'll be a requirement. The students getting ahead are the ones building that skill right now in high school and college before it becomes table stakes. AInativestudent.com is the program doing that. Weekly one-on-one coaching, live cohort sessions, on-demand courses, and the fastest growing AI chat for students, all tailored to your student's specific career path. Pre-med, they learn how AI is transforming diagnostics. Pre-law, they learn legal AI tools. Business, they learn to think like an AI power operator. One flat membership, less than a private tutor, cancel anytime, and if you're a founder listening to the show, you already know the cost of falling behind. Don't let your kid pay that price. Go to AInativestudent.com, apply in a couple minutes, and get your student into the cohort that changes their trajectory. AInativestudent.com and send them to the chat. It's totally free. Here's what separates the founders who become icons from the ones who stay invisible: a weekly newsletter. Not because it's trendy, because Inbox is where business actually gets done. It's where investors read your thinking before they take the call. Where future hires decide they want to work for you. Where customers remember why they chose you. Your social posts disappear in a couple hours. Your newsletter compounds for years. Inbox Alchemy builds your entire founder newsletter operation from scratch. The writing, the design, the beautiful branded website, and a growth engine that takes you from 0 to 25,000 subscribers in your first 6 months. They manage everything, so your personal brand is working for you around the clock, building reputation, deepening relationships, and driving real pipeline. All while you run your company. The founders building email audiences right now are playing a game the algorithm can never touch. That's inboxalchemy.co, and go build yours. I want to tell you about someone I think you should hire. Her name is Casey Taylor, and Casey is an AI partnership agent. And Casey's entire job is securing brand sponsorships for your podcast. Not handing you a spreadsheet, actually reaching out, making the pitch, and closing the deal for your show on your behalf. Chasing sponsorships for podcasters is a headache. They'd rather be recording episodes. Casey manages that completely. You brief Casey on your show, Casey goes to work, and you get back to doing the thing you're actually good at. Whether you've got 5,000 listeners or 50,000, she knows how to find the right brands for your audience and get them on board. You need Casey. Every podcaster does. Go to gethowdy.com, that's GETHOWDI.com, and meet Casey Taylor. Your new partnership agent is ready when you are. Every week I sit down and ask myself one question. What do founders actually need to know about AI right now? Not the think pieces or the stuff that sounds impressive, the real useful put it to work today stuff. Then I write it up, send it to you in your inbox free. That newsletter is called AI for Founders, and I built it because I was tired of wading through hit pieces and people that are afraid of the future. Each issue, I break down the tools worth your time, the strategies that are working, and the ways you can use AI to grow your company without burning out or getting left behind. Thousands of founders read it every week, and I'd love for you to be one of them. Subscribe for free at aiforfounders.co. 3 seconds to sign up, and I promise it's worth it.